Hello, I'm Carol and this is Lisa. We're here today at Wells House to tell you about two gentlemen who were very influential in the early history of Wenatchee and who are very important to Wells House. I'm going to start with Mr. W.T. Clark, whose portrait is right here. William Timothy Clark was a man of many interests and talents. This presentation will focus on his time in Wenatchee and his contributions to the community. Mr. Clark was born in Ohio in 1860 and came to Washington Territory in 1888. He moved to Wenatchee in 1901 after several years in the Yakima Valley, where he was instrumental in the development and construction of the Moxie-Selah Irrigation Canal. The commercial club in Wenatchee asked him to bring his experience in canal building to the Wenatchee Valley, which was developing quite a reputation as a prime apple growing area. As the middleman on the project, Mr. Clark provided leadership, brought engineers to the valley, hired hundreds of workers, and was instrumental in raising funds for construction. The Highline Canal, which brought in irrigation water to Wenatchee from the Upper Valley, was begun in 1902 and completed in 1903. After the canal was finished, Mr. Clark was known as the father of Wenatchee. As construction of the canal progressed, Mr. Clark brought his family to the Wenatchee, and his other contributions to the development of the community began. He owned a daily newspaper called the Wenatchee Republican. He founded the First National Bank of Wenatchee and was its first president. He created the East Wenatchee Land Company and then promoted construction of a bridge over the Columbia River for wagons and to carry irrigation water from the Highline Canal to the east side of the Columbia. He developed several hundred acres of apple orchards, and he was president of the Washington State Horticultural Society. He also served as president of the Chamber of Commerce. In 1909, construction began on a home for the Clark family on 5th Street. Mrs. Clark, Adelaide, worked with architects in California to design the home, complete with turret. Construction cost $50,000. She also designed a large stained glass window, which is still in the house today. This structure later became known as Wells House. At the time, the house was known locally as Clark's Cobblestone Castle. It has 3 stories with a basement and included a large ballroom for entertaining. The Clarks moved into the house in 1910 and lived there with their 5 children until 1919. A 6th child, a daughter, had died some years before. Mr. Clark made and lost his fortune a number of times throughout his life. The economic downturn after World War I forced him to sell his land holdings and ultimately the family home to Mr. and Mrs. A.Z. Wells in 1919. Mr. Clark moved to California from Wenatchee, where he passed away in 1937 at age 77. His remains were placed in the family mausoleum at Wenatchee Cemetery.